don't do that, you pest, for, like 5 seconds in your life. That would be swell. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Em. Tomorrow is the start of Laidback Readathon. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. Laidback Readathon is the brainchild, okay, we're not petting the cat anymore, of Marty, who is Let's Talk About Books Baby on Instagram and on YouTube, and I will link her various stuff down below. And it's basically just a time to prioritize reading, but with no stress and no expectations. You just read what you can, when you can, if you can, and it's super awesome. I've been participating for years at this point. If you want to participate next time, just follow Marty. She announces in her stories on Instagram when another round is going to begin, and it's the best time. She puts everyone into group chats, and the group I am in a chat with, we have been in the same group, oh gosh, since the first Laidback Readathon. Anyways, so it's fun, and the chat is awesome. Honestly, my favorite part of doing Laidback Readathon. Anyways, let's talk about what I'm going to be reading during Laidback Readathon. That light on my candle warmer is flickering and it's bugging me. Okay, there we go. I don't know how successful, oh, these are heavy, I will be in this round because it's over a 4-day weekend. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. However, it is also coinciding with my children's and my husband's 4-day weekend of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so I just don't know how much time I'll have to read. Also, the reason I'm doing my intro now is Thursday, the first day, is like my busiest work day of the week. And I just know recording with my busy work schedule that day and with every single person in my family home, like recording anything, it's going to be so hard. So there's probably going to be a lot of car footage in this vlog because that's honestly going to be the easiest way to talk to you guys in between all the reading. Oh yeah, I am not okay. Okay, let's talk about what I'm going to be reading. I am already in the middle or partway through 3 chunky books, so I'm not adding anything to my TBR. I am just going to be trying to finish the books that I'm already reading. So I am about 100 pages into The Surviving Sky by Kritika H. And this has been on my radar since like earlier this year because Shannon Chakraborty was talking about the arc for this in her stories. Maybe even since last year. I don't know. I've known about this book for a long time. I love this cover. I'm going to put up a print because I just think with the cover on this library book, you're not going to be able to see it. Post-apocalyptic, kind of. I think it's set in the future, so maybe science fantasy, because it's set in the future. It's set on Earth, but Earth is just being ravaged by climate change, and there's storms and earthquakes and just absolute devastation all the time. So humans really can no longer live on Earth. And what people have done is develop these floating cities that use magic to float, and the people that have the magic to make these cities float are called architects. And these cities are really plant-based. So the architects have the power to manipulate plant life and infuse it with magic, I guess. And our main characters are a husband and wife, and the husband is an architect, and he is like one of the highest ranking architects, and his wife is an anthropologist. But there's a real division of class in their world. The architects are revered, they're almost godlike, and everything is done in service to and in deference to the architects. And our main character, Ahila, I think, she thinks that's wrong and she wants society to change it. So she's trying to figure out a way to redistribute the power so that the architects don't have so much of it, basically. But it switches back and forth between the wife's perspective and the husband's perspective so far, and I really like it. It's really interesting. I haven't really read anything with this kind of world before. It's super creative, and I'm just hoping the rest of the book lives up to the first 100 pages, because God, don't jinx it. This could easily be a new favorite. Okay. And then I'm also still working on Out There Screaming, anthology of new Black horror. This is edited by Jordan Peele, and I'm reading this pretty slow. I'm not super committed to finishing this anytime soon. I'm kind of enjoying the pacing I'm doing. I'm reading just maybe a couple stories at a time and then putting it down, and then sometimes I don't pick it up until maybe like 2 or 3 days later, and then I read a couple more. But I'm really liking every single story. I haven't really had one that I didn't like. I haven't DNF'd any of them. I'm just really digging all these stories. They're not all scary. I would say there's been a couple that have had some like gross body horror, but in terms of like actual scary stuff, like the horrors and the racism that Black people experience in their everyday life, like that's where a lot of the horror comes from. So I think even if you're not a horror person, like I think this is a very cool anthology. And I'm generally not a short story person. I typically don't enjoy short story anthologies just because it takes me so long to get into a story that by the time it's over, like I'm just getting into it by the time it's over. And then this one, I think just the length of the horror and the way they're written, it's perfection? Maybe? Too soon? I don't know. But I'm really liking it. I'm about this far in. I'm actually in the middle of a story. I should probably finish that one today. And then the other book I have just started is Heart of the Sun Warrior by Lynn Tan. This is the second book in the Daughter of the Moon Goddess duology. What's it called? Celestial Kingdom duology. And this just is picking up shortly after Daughter of the Moon Goddess ends. I didn't love Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I liked it, but there were some things that I didn't love. And I'm hoping those things are not. And like very subjective things. As far as craft and execution goes, it's great. She's like, well, my Daughter of the Moon Goddess was, craft-wise, was great. Objectively, there were plot devices and things that I didn't personally enjoy, but because it's only duology, I want to see how it wraps up. So that is my little TBR for the next 4 days. Wish me luck on finishing these. If by any chance I finish any one of these, I will be starting Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn and finishing out the Legendborn cycle. So, yeah. Okay. That's it for now. I'll talk to you tomorrow. friends. I have to go into work shortly, but I wanted to do a quick update. My reading derailed a little bit because I very impulsively started the Britney Spears memoir this morning, and yeah. So that's been a fun time, but also a sad time. I think I was in I know I was in high school, but I think I was a freshman when Baby One More Time came out. So I feel like I grew up with Britney Spears music always playing, because I loved her so much when I was in high school, and I still have a lot of nostalgic affection for her music. So listening to this memoir, when she's talking about specific things like wearing, like her and Justin Timberlake both wearing full denim outfits to the VMAs, like I don't even need a picture, because that is just burned into my brain as maybe not a core memory, but I don't, yeah, it's just, yeah, I can just picture everything she's talking about so clearly. But it's sad because she's had a lot of like hard things in her life and has not been treated well by people who should have protected her. So that part's sad, but I am really liking it. Michelle Williams is doing a phenomenal job narrating it. I'm like halfway through with it already. Yeah, I don't know if I'll finish it today. And my oldest has swim practice for like 45 minutes to an hour this evening, and we usually do pizza movie nights on Friday nights, but since nobody has school or work, I mean, I have work on Saturday, but like my husband is off for the rest of the week too, so we're gonna do pizza movie night tonight after we're done with swim. And I just don't know how much reading will work into that, but since it is also the weekend leading up to Halloween, I went by Ulta and I got some fun Halloween nails. I never do this coffin shape, I think is what it's called. I usually do like the shorter ones, but I thought, for Halloween it could be fun. So I'll probably put these on tonight while we're watching whatever movie we decide to watch. Ooh, and they're glow in the dark, so that'll be fun. Okay, I saw somebody from work coming to get in the car next to me, so I wanted to stop recording. But the one thing I was gonna say is I am kind of bummed because my mom is coming to watch my oldest at swim. It'll be great. But now I'm like, oh dang it, I could have listened to the Britney book all during swim if my mom wasn't gonna be there. But now my mom's gonna be there, so I'll have to visit with her. It'll be great. I would much rather spend time with my mom than read, but there is part of me that's like, ah. Hi friends, happy Friday. It is beautiful, beautiful fall day outside. It's pretty chilly, but the sun is out. It's just gorgeous. My twins are at play rehearsal for the afternoon, and so my youngest and I went for almost an hour-long walk, and it was really fun. We talked about Pokemon the entire time because that's what they're hyper fixated on at the moment. So I know more about Pokemon now than I ever have known previously in my entire life. But before we went on our walk, I did finish The Woman in Me, which is the Britney Spears memoir, and I'm not going to rate it because that feels weird to do with a memoir that is so personal and vulnerable. I did listen to it on audio. I got it from Libro FM, and I thought Michelle Williams did a really great job narrating it, and I feel sad for Britney and all the years that she lost of her life under that conservatorship, and it was just sad to hear how the people who should have had her back and taken care of her chose not to take care of her. And I'm glad that she calls out all the men that used her and took advantage of her and manipulated her so that they could get what they wanted out of their interaction with her. It's so gross. Like, especially the way Justin Timberlake and Kevin Federline and her dad treated her. Just absolutely disgusting. Yeah, I hope she just has good things in the future.
And I will be the star of your new show. Please don't edit that part out.
We 100% edit that part out.
No! This is not part of the readathon. It's a pause. Are you doing the readathon?
No.
Forget that last part.
This isn't live, Emmett.
It's not?
No.
I'm not going to post this?
I am, but I can edit it. Anyways, I need to make some coffee because I am tired after all the exercise. And I'm also trying to hydrate after such a long walk. But I think I might switch over to Heart of the Sun Warrior next. And keep going with that, which I'm liking quite a bit more than Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Daughter of the Moon Goddess, there were action scenes, but then there were what felt like lulls in between. Heart of the Sun Warrior has felt less lull-y than Daughter of the Moon Goddess did. It feels like pacing is a little bit more even. That frickin' love triangle is still being toyed with, though, and I don't like it. But the writing is good, so it is what it is. Oh, maybe I should actually maybe I'll read a short story from Out There Screaming first, because I haven't read a short story from there for a couple of days. So, yes, I'm going to read a short story or two from Out There Screaming, and then depending on how the afternoon goes, I'll switch to Heart of the Sun Warrior. I think we're going to go to the big library that's a couple towns away from us after my twins get out of rehearsal, and then we're gonna go to a video store, which will be wild for my kids, because I was trying to explain the concept of a video store to the 8-year-old last night, and it didn't go well. All right, so yeah, that's the update for today, and I'll come back if I have any more burning thoughts about anything. Good morning, friends. It's Sunday and the last day of the readathon. I haven't had coffee yet. Let's fix that. And I slept in this morning, which I don't do very often, but I just needed the extra sleep. The downside of sleeping in is that I don't get my usual reading time to myself in the morning, but that's okay. The sleep was definitely more important for today. Today is going to be a big cleaning day. The house is a disaster. We're trying to declutter our garage so that we can get rid of our storage unit. So we have to declutter the garage and then declutter the storage unit. But that means there's a lot of clutter around. So I need today to be cleaning day, which also means it'll be like a big audiobook day because I haven't finished anything during this readathon, which is fine. Laid back readathon for a reason. No pressure. I am, how far? I am 82% of the way through Heart of the Sun Warrior. I have an hour left to go according to my Kobo. There you go. I also have the audiobook for this though, so I can pop that in if I want to. Once I finish that, I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I've been listening to The Surviving Sky, but that's a book where I need to fully pay attention. So I've been reading and listening in tandem because there's so much going on. I'm going to angle my camera down a little bit. Oh, I like that a little bit better. Because there's just so much going on plot-wise and world building and character development that it's not a multitasking book, basically. It's not a multitasking book. And I didn't read it at all yesterday because what was I doing? I don't know. I guess I was reading Heart of the Sun Warrior. Anyways, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next. I was thinking about listening to The Starling House for an upcoming vlog, but I only have that on audio and it's narrated by Natalie Naudus. Heart of the Sun Warrior is also narrated by Natalie Naudus, and I've gone from barely listening to any of the audiobooks she's narrated to listening to like 5 in the last month. So I need a different narrator in my ears for a little bit. I like her. I don't want that to sound like I don't think she's a good narrator. I think she's great. I just need somebody else's performance in my ears for a bit. And then hopefully I'm going to read a little bit more of Out There Screaming today. I am going to meet a friend of mine in the early afternoon. We're gonna hang out for a little bit. That'll be great. He just had surgery like last week, and so it'll be good to go see him. And what else do we have to do? Oh, my youngest teacher's birthday is tomorrow, and so we're gonna make her chocolate chip cookies. So I have to do that with E. We got a lot going on today, clearly. But for now, I'm gonna drink my coffee. I'm gonna read my book. We're gonna chill, and we're gonna ease in to this Sunday. Got a very precarious balance situation on, but I think you're secure. I'm mid-organizing. It's a disaster, but we'll get there. Anyways, I finished Heart of the Sun Warrior. I had, I think, 56 minutes of the audiobook left, so I just listened while I cleaned out. I'll show it in a minute, but we have a hutch in our dining room, and I cleaned it out because we're using kind of like a sideboard situation instead. And it's basically like where we store all the kids' art supplies. Anyways, book. I finished Heart of the Sun Warrior, and I think I'm going to give it the same rating I gave Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which was a 3. I think craft-wise, this duology is really well done. I think I keep putting this too far up. Better? Kind of. Okay. I think Sue Lynn Tan's writing is really good. And I think her character work is really good. I just didn't like the love triangle aspect. And this series is very much a romantasy. And so if you are also not a fan of love triangles, like, I would not recommend this. You will not have a good time. I was continually frustrated by the love triangle. And I didn't love how this wrapped up. There's situations that should be really high stakes, but I was never as anxious as I feel like I should have been, considering the stakes. Not the duology for me, but I am glad I finally read it and I don't have to keep wondering if I should read it, so that's good. I just went and browsed around the library for a little while by myself, which was delightful, and checked out some books that I might read in November, but I thought I'd do a little library haul. To start with, this is not book related, but I checked out Knives Out. We had checked this out from our local video store, and then it totally froze right in the middle. If you've seen the movie, it froze right after the Will reading scene. So I grabbed it for the library so we could finish it tonight. And then the rest of these are possibilities for nonfiction November, which I didn't really take into account when I made my November TBR video, but I always like to use November as a push to get more nonfiction into my reading life. I grabbed Labyrinth of Ice by Buddy Levi. This is about a polar expedition. I don't know, these kind of books aren't usually my jam, but I have this on audio from Libro FM. It was an ALC at some point. And then this was a very impulsive read. Or impulsive, well, they were all impulsive grabs, but I found a collection of Neil Gaiman's nonfiction. Specifically, there's an essay in here about Halloween, which I thought might be fun to read on Halloween, which is in 2 days. I think by the time this particular vlog comes out, Halloween will be a week or so in the past, but for me right now, Halloween's in 2 days. So I don't know, I thought the Halloween one might be kind of fun to read. He also has like his famous essay on libraries. I just haven't read any Neil Gaiman books in a really long time, and so I thought that could be fun. And then the last one I got is Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. I'm contemplating doing a reading vlog of authors that I'm embarrassed I haven't read yet, and she is one of those authors that I feel like I should have read at this point. So I was thinking I could do that and read like her, and I also haven't read any Octavia Butler or Toni Morrison. There's, I mean, I could keep going, but I don't know. If you think that sounds like fun, like a cool idea for a vlog, let me know in the comments. And if you have any authors, I mean, granted, I don't know how you are going to know which authors I have or have not read at this point in my life, but, you know, there are several authors where I am kind of embarrassed that I haven't read them yet, and she is at the top of the list. So I'll probably do it regardless, because I think it'll be good for my reading life to read from those authors. Okay, now I'm just rambling. All right, yeah, so that is my little library haul, and let's continue on with the video. All right, everyone, I'm gonna go ahead and end this vlog here. It is 5:30 on Sunday night, and I'm in the middle of making dinner. My youngest and I still have to make cookies. We still got a whole lot of stuff to do, and my husband and I are gonna finish Knives Out tonight, so I'm not anticipating making any more progress really in my reading. I did finish one book this weekend. I finished Heart of the Sun Warrior, and I made about 50 more pages of progress in The Surviving Sky, and I think I read one more story in Out There Screaming, so not my most productive laid-back readathon, but I still had a great weekend. I had so much fun hanging out with my friend this afternoon, and we just spent 2 hours visiting, and he usually works on the weekend, so it was such a treat to get to hang out with him. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. If you also participated in Laidback Readathon, I would love to hear how it went for you, and let's see, if you've made it this far and you don't know what to say, but you want to leave a comment, let's do a yellow heart emoji, since Heart of the Sun Warrior is yellow. And I will talk to y'all in the next one. Bye!